Right, well, welcome back troops, and it's an exciting day because I've seen the sun and we may see it again. Now tomorrow will be Friday, and Friday is traditionally the fire practicing day for bushcrafters. Fire it up Friday or Fatwood Friday, and I'm lucky because I've got fatwood locally. Not a lot, but I've got some. But we're not going to try starting a fire today with fatwood. We're very close to the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. So that means if you want to see the sun overhead, you've got to go to 23.5 degrees south of the equator. And it means the sun at this time of year where I live will never get very high above the horizon. Now, you know I take with me a first aid kit for the dog when we're out, and it's usually in this pocket, and here it is. And I've been through the contents before, so I'm not going to go through the contents again, but all I'm going to say is I've got two methods of fire starting in here. One's a lighter and the other is a small Fresnel lens magnifying glass. So I'm just going to get that out. Jess, fetch that here. Fetch it here. Fetch it here. That's not good, dog. Drop it. Now that's not chewing up wood, that's fat wood. That's not wood for chewing up. You won't find your own bit of wood. Right, so it's double wrapped because, especially at this time of year, I often come back soaking. So I've also got in there some tissues, and I'm going to use these as well. The reason I'm going to use these is because I have got tinder here, but that tinder is damp, probably too damp to ignite. So I'm just going to start dumping some of the contents, knife, lighter, which is also a torch, which also has tape on it, also etc, etc. I'm not going through the first aid kit, but I have got in here a small Fresnel lens magnifying glass. So the question is, at this time of year, and I am 54.5 degrees north, that's my latitude. That's how far I live north of the equator, 54.5 degrees. So at this time of year, the sun will never get higher than 90 degrees minus my latitude, minus the sun's declination, how far south it is or north it is at the moment. At the moment it's south of the equator, so it's a subtraction. So it's never going to get higher than 12 degrees at this time of year, and at the moment it's behind clouds, so we're going to have to wait a short time and hopefully it'll pop out. What also makes a difference, of course, is the time, because it reaches its maximum altitude at local noon, which is pretty much GMT time for us in the UK, and at the moment it is 20 past 11, so it's going to reach its maximum altitude at somewhere round about 12 o'clock. I'm not exactly on Greenwich, and then there's this thing called the equation of time. It all gets complicated, but roughly midday is close enough. Now, to maximise my chances of this working, I'm going to use the tissues, but what I'm going to use to try and start it off is, and we've got plenty of it in this area, we're quite lucky again, you've got to look at your own resources. We've got a fungus stuck to the lid. We have a fungus called Daldinia concentrica, and it gets its name from those concentric rings on the inside. It's also known as King Alfred's cakes or cramp balls, and it's like charcoal. So once I get, if I can get this alight, it should stay smouldering, and then I can bring into play my tissues, and then I'll put that in the tinder bundle, because as I say, the tinder bundle is damp. I haven't been carrying it around with me on an inside pocket. And I've got these ones out to replace the ones I'm going to use. Right, so we're just waiting on sun now. We have a little bit of sun. If I point you around there to the clouds, I don't know whether you're going to see much, but you can see the clouds. So we're waiting for the sun to poke through them clouds, and I think it's going to do that any minute now. So let's get you in a position you can see what's going on. So here we go then. So that's smoking now. Hopefully you can see that. That was easy. The sun's only at 12 degrees. It's at less than 12 degrees because it's not even local noon. It's only 22 minutes past 11 in the morning, and I've got it going. So this is worth it. Well, it's worth carrying for other reasons, but it's also worth carrying as a fire starter. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to wrap this up in my tissues. I've only got 2 tissues left. Oh, look at it now, it's really going. I've wrapped it up in the tissues. I need to keep the oxygen to it. When you start going dizzy and your fingertips start tingling or your lips start tingling, you know you've depleted. Well, you're getting lots of oxygen because you're breathing in and blowing, but you've got not enough CO2. Get a bit of wind on it. It's because it's damp. There we go. There we go. So that's just what I wanted to demonstrate. Is this useful at this time of year for fire starting in the northern hemisphere? And that had no problem whatsoever. So it's just good to know the capabilities of your kit, know what your limitations are. So at 54.5 degrees north, the winter solstice, no problem at all. So now I can get a cup of tea and a tin of soup for me dinner. But I tend to make the videos go on too long as it is, so we're going to call it a day at that. Oh, and just before I finish, I got this off of Mad Dog Survival, and I got another one off a lad at work. So I carry one in the dog's first aid kit, and I also carry one at work because I have to read stuff, and sometimes the writing is either stupidly small or crazily spiderly. So they're very cheap, and because of the Fresnel way it's built, they're very small or thin, less than a millimetre I would say. So in the first aid kit they're good for spells, ticks, stuff. So good piece of kit. Nice to know it's got double uses at this time of year. Right, I'm just waffling now. That's it. It's only Thursday, but we'll count this as me fire it up Friday because I'm working tomorrow. And it'll probably be pouring down tomorrow. Right. Okay, so that's it. Gone.